So this is our wonderful team of of Green Chemistry Commitment Connections organizers this year. Our team has grown since last year, so from the three of us, we now have five. Jasmine, Sarah, and I will be here again this year and we're very excited for this new year. And we also have some amazing ambassadors from Australia this year, Tessa and Adele, who aren't here today, but we'll have some welcome slides so you can get to know them a little bit better for the connections that are coming up in the future. We also have some Beyond Benign ambassadors as well with us today, Sarah and Michelle, who are a great addition to this team and will helping us throughout the Green Chemistry Connections to help this community connect a little bit more. And they'll have some slides as well where they will introduce themselves to you and our wonderful community. And today the connections is possible because of our sponsors, one of them being Milpor Sigma. So we want to thank them for supporting this initiative and allowing us to be here. And as you guys know, if you joined us last year or if you're new this year, we do land acknowledgements based on where all of our organizers are located and participating from to acknowledge what we're able to do from where we live. So Jasmine, Sarah, and I are from McGill University, and we want to do a land acknowledgement for that. So McGill University is located on the land which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange for the Indigenous people, including the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations. McGill honors and recognizes and respects these nations as traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we meet today.
And I'm from Concordia, so we also would like to acknowledge. So we would like to begin by acknowledging that Concordia University is located on unceded indigenous land. The Kanien'kehá:ka Nation is recognized as the custodians of the lands and water on which we gather today. Tiohtià:ke Montreal is historically known as a gathering place for many First Nations. Today, it is home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We respect the continued connection with the past, present, and future in our ongoing relationship with Indigenous and other peoples within the Montreal community.
Hi, everyone. I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland. So our land acknowledgement is that we acknowledge that the lands, hold on, I had to move my stuff over. We acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups. And we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. Thank you.
So, hi everyone, I'm Sarah. Sorry for joining a few minutes late. There was a meeting beforehand, but we also wanted to include the land acknowledgements of different universities in Australia because two of our co-organizers are situated in Australia. So obviously they can't join us live right now due to the time difference. But we just want to acknowledge the lands of Monash University, as well as Flinders University, and the traditional lands that they are situated on, which are the lands of the peoples listed here.
And just to do some logistics for Zoom and for our meeting today, please feel free to add your pronouns using the rename function through the drop-down menu. So that way we can refer to each other in the proper terms and be respectful to everybody's identities. Also, the live transcript can be enabled using the CC button at the bottom of your screen if you would like to use that as well. And the slides and transcript will be made available after the connections through emails after as well.
So we also just wanted to address our code of conduct. So it's important to us during this series that everyone feels a strong sense of belonging during our connections. So by participating, you agree to be professional, respectful, and considerate. We have a global audience, so everyone comes from different backgrounds. We all respect that. And then once you go into the breakout sessions, basically the general guideline is to speak up and step back. So maybe introduce yourself for 2 minutes, but then step back and give others the space to introduce themselves as well.
Everyone. So just to go over our agenda for today. So obviously we've just done our kind of welcome intro, and we're going to proceed to introducing our organizers for the connections this year, as well as our ambassadors. Following, we will have a short video from John Warner, co-founder of Beyond Benign. And then we'll have some breakout rooms with the connections team, as well as Beyond Benign higher ed team. And then we'll have a short break, followed by some of our community ambassadors who will be presenting their work, and then more breakout rooms, and then a wrap up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm a PhD candidate in chemistry at McGill University. I work in the lab of Professor Audrey Moores. And my research focus and interests are in green chemistry, photocatalysis, plasmatics, and nanomaterials. If you paid attention, if you came and joined our Green Chemistry Connections last year, you may recognize me as one of the co-organizers. But as we'll see here, our team has greatly expanded, and we're very excited to have everyone introduced.
Everyone, like Sarah, I was a co-organizer last year, but I'm really excited to see you guys for this year. Just to briefly introduce myself, I am a PhD student in chemistry, also supervised by Audrey Moores, but also Professor Subesis Ghoshal in the Civil Engineering Department here at McGill. And yeah, really excited to host Connections this year and to have some interesting conversations.
Hi everyone, my name is Gagan. I've been talking since the beginning, but like Jasmine and Sarah said, I was also a co-organizer last year as well. So I'm very excited for this new team and new dynamic and to meet everybody again and have this exciting new year. I'm a PhD student here at McGill as well. I'm supervised by Professor Matthew Harrington, and I work on more bio-inspired materials design. And Jasmine forgot to mention this, but it's an important point. We did co-found a Green Chemistry McGill group here at student group here at McGill. And if anybody is interested in starting a Green Chemistry group at their university, feel free to ask us questions about that or any outreach questions as well. And now we have a video from one of our Australian co-organizers. So just if you don't hear sound in like the first like 5-10 seconds, please let me know so I can pause and restart.
Hi everyone, so thank you for having me, and it's really great to have the opportunity to meet you all virtually. So I'm coming from Adelaide, Australia, so this is a recording, but please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or would like to have a discussion. My email is on the slide there, or you can find me on LinkedIn. So a little bit about who I am. So my PhD is extracting South Australia brown seaweed polyphenols for skin health products. So a really exciting project, really exciting space to be in. I'm also looking at doing a diploma in personal care formulation where I can actually transfer and translate some of my PhD work into a skin health business. I've also just recently completed an internship with a cooperative research centre, which is a government funding body with marine bioproducts. And that was a really exciting internship where we looked between business and managing the research projects across Australia in the marine biotech space. I'm also part of managing the Green Chemistry Outreach Program in Australia, and this has actually come about by being part of an ARC training centre for green chemistry and manufacturing, and these guys are funding my PhD project currently. And so we've decided to come up with a community-based program that's where we actually go into schools, schools come to us, and we can actually deliver aspects and experiments to do with green chemistry to really try and drive that industry. And I'm also currently a middle school teacher for maths and science in a lower socioeconomic school. So it's really good to see that translation from research to education and make those connections. So I guess my goals, and particularly for being here, is to connect and drive the green chemistry industry in Australia from a skin health standpoint. Doesn't necessarily have to be limited to skin health. So yeah, I think we're positioned in a really unique country where we can actually drive this because we're a little bit behind times. But yeah. And then my other goal is to make a difference in the Australian education economy, and then hopefully driving green chemistry practices in the education space. So really trying to transfer or translate some of those happenings in research, and then getting teachers to understand that, and hopefully incorporating that into their practice with students, and yeah, coming up with a more sustainable economy here. I'm actually currently from Flinders as well, so Flinders is my acting research industry. And this photo on the right here is a little bit about my research project that I had with Marine Byproduct CRC, where we were doing like a 3D printing project with seaweed alginate. So yeah, really exciting space to be in. Thanks for having me. Just a little bit about myself, and like I said, if you wanted to reach out, my email is there, and you can always contact me on LinkedIn. So thanks.
Okay, so that was Adele, one of our co-organizers, and
hi everyone. So thank you for having me, and it's really great to have the opportunity to meet you all virtually.
okay, and then we do have another video from Tessa, who is the other co-organizer.
Hello everyone, my name is Tessa. It is nice to virtually meet you. Like Adele, I am also from Australia, so I will not be joining you for this virtual event, at least not live. However, I do look forward to hopefully meeting you virtually in some of the upcoming sessions. So I'm from Victoria or Melbourne in Australia. I'm doing my PhD at Monash University, and I'm also a part of the ARC Green Chemistry in Manufacturing Training Centre. So my PhD is supported by an industry partner. My research focus and my major love when it comes to chemistry and sustainable chemistry is in agriculture. So I am looking at developing greener, more sustainable, more effective nitrogen fertilization techniques. So specifically looking at improving the nitrogen delivery from granular urea. Now I am in my third year of my PhD, and I've also been quite heavily involved in the Green Chemistry Outreach Program, which you may remember Adele mentioning. So here in Victoria, we deliver that program to schools and really support and hope to push the green chemistry knowledge and learning in our state, but hopefully moving more Australia-wide. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to meeting you in some of the upcoming virtual events. And yeah, please reach out if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of today's session. Hello, everyone.
So, hello everyone. My name is Sarah Boudreau, and I just started my 4th year as a PhD candidate in chemistry at Memorial University of Newfoundland, which is on the east coast of Canada, and I'm supervised by Professor Francesca Curtin. My PhD research involves the valorization of seafood byproducts to yield more valuable materials and ultimately achieve a more circular economy. So my research focuses and interests, I'm very passionate about green chemistry and using the principles to achieve a circular economy as well as the sustainable development goals. I'm mostly interested in bio-derived materials and creating nanomaterials from biomass using mechanochemistry. I learned about Beyond Benign many years ago, actually, but like in terms of joining Beyond Benign, I learned it from the Green Chemistry Initiative held by U of T and McGill, but also going to the Green Chemistry and Engineering Conference this year was really how I approached Beyond Benign and expressing my interest to join this group. So I'm very fortunate to be part of the group this year, and I look forward to participating in the webinars. So thank you.
Oh, hello everyone, I'm Michelle. I'm originally from Brazil, but I'm doing my PhD in chemistry in Canada, Montreal, at Concordia University, and under the supervision of Professor Rafik Nakash. My PhD research is focused on the carbon-based materials as heterogeneous catalysts for biodiesel production. So the focus of my research and my main interest is to bring some principles for the synthesis of the catalyst and also for the biodiesel. So I'm trying to use biomass, renewable source, to produce those materials, and also try to apply, for example, microwave assisted synthesis into the catalyst synthesis, but also the biodiesel. And I heard about Beyond Benign through Juliana, since she also is Brazilian. So I'm happy to be here for the first year, part of this team and promoting green chemistry throughout our society and our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for introducing themselves. Hope everyone got to enjoy these introductions and we learned a little bit more about us. So now with the introductions done, we'll go to the video of Dr. John Warner, and I'll just do a quick introduction for him. So John Warner is a chemistry inventor who works to design and create commercial technologies inspired by nature, consistent with the principles of green chemistry. With over 300 patents, he has invented solutions for dozens of multinational corporations. He co-founded the field of green chemistry with over 120 publications and has received prestigious awards, including the August Wilhelm von Hofmann Medal, the President Award for Excellence in Science Mentoring, and the Perkin Medal. He holds academic positions at Monash University in Australia, Chulalongkorn University in Thailand, Somali University in India, and the University of Birmingham in the UK, and Rochester Institute of Technology in the US, and the Technical University of Berlin in Germany, where they have named the John Warner Center for Startups in Green Chemistry. So I'm just gonna reconnect to the video, so just give me a few seconds to set that up.
Well, hello, everybody. This is John Warner speaking, and I'm very happy to be speaking with you all. I apologize for not being live, but as you are listening to this, I think that I am in an airplane flying back from Zurich to Boston. The European Union has a pesticide commission meeting, and I'm speaking at that on Wednesday, the 15th. So I'm recording this the day before. This is on Tuesday, and I'm about to get on a plane to Zurich. So I wanted to share with you some thoughts today as you're having this meeting talking about green chemistry. This is kind of a different talk for me. I haven't given this one. I literally just spent the last few hours making a lot of these slides. There are some old ones, of course, but I wanted to talk about, more philosophical, about research, about solving problems for society, how we look at the education system, how we work together, how we collaborate, and just kind of really dig into some thoughts there. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is we hear constantly about silos. Okay, in academia, there are silos. In industry, there are silos. In government, there are silos. Well, the thing is, when people talk about silos, to me, the way that I look at them actually is, we, for whatever reason, have applied the reductionist approach to our Western civilization's education system. For some reason, we decided that the reductionist approach, we take a system and then we break it into bite-sized pieces and we call it chemistry, physics, biology. And then we say, okay, well, chemistry is still complicated. So we break that into bite-sized pieces and we talk about organic chemistry and physical chemistry. And then we say, oh, we need to work together. So now I apologize for this, but what do we do in our reductionist approach? We create a reduced approach and we call it systems thinking. It's kind of ironic that we take a whole system, we cut it into pieces. We say, oh, these pieces don't work. So we create a new piece and call it systems thinking. But that's the way the life is. And so, but when we talk about silos, I feel that what's really important is that we realize that actually there are no silos, that we have constructed these barriers in our own imagination. In the universe of nature, there are no barriers. There is no boundaries between physics and chemistry and psychology and everything else. That just because we humans 100 years ago decided to construct these artificial barriers, I actually feel when we talk about removing them, we're actually acknowledging that they exist in the first place. So I think what we really want to do is wrap our heads around the fact that these barriers don't exist other than through our own human constructs. Okay, and so when we talk about sustainability, there are so many new silos that we create: responsible care, safe and sustainable by design, resilience, systems thinking, limits to growth, UN SDGs, circular economy, biomimicry, ecology of commerce, cradle to cradle, planetary boundaries, green chemistry. And of course, in our system that we have to compete. My silo is better than your silo. My approach to sustainability is better than their approach, and this one's old and yesterday's news, and this one is tomorrow's news and the modern one. And oh my goodness, this is so heartbreaking. The reason we probably have the sustainability issues we have today is because of this competitiveness. Why can't people just say, hey, I really love the approaches people are doing. Here is my piece. Please consider this as part of it. My approach isn't better than someone else's. It's not like that approach does not apply to our society, but working together, this very concept that we have to have team this, and this is the old approach and this is the new approach. 3.8 billion years of natural history, we humans have been on this planet for such a small amount of time. If we have to identify these micro times of, dominance of one approach or another approach, come on, let's just knock it off. All of these approaches are wonderful. People who have taken the time to look at the world in a certain place are putting themselves out there and are being vulnerable. And instead of throwing stones or explaining why theirs is bad, we need to embrace one another and work together. If someone wakes up in the morning and says, I love this approach, I'm going to dedicate my life to this, what idiot feels it's necessary to say, no, that's wrong, you should do this one instead? What we need to do is help one another and put the pieces together. All right. And so please, 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 as we look at science and the sustainability issues that we have, realize that all of these approaches are equally meritorious. And so the way that I look at it, okay, is that why is important? We need to motivate society, okay? And so there is a lot of effort people are doing to explain why we need to do sustainability. There's the, petroleum oil spills, plastics in the environment, CO2 changing our climate, toxic spills and emissions. It is clearly obvious that we need to address these issues. Anyone who hasn't figured that out yet, there might be some other motivation behind that. All right. So it's important. And we need to keep on hammering the story to the public and to ourselves why this is so important. And then we have to talk about what, okay? And when we talk about what, this is that last slide. Maybe we want to do the UN SDGs. Maybe we want to get safe and sustainable by design. Maybe responsible care. Maybe circular economy. All of these approaches, these are the whats. But our little piece in all of this, in green chemistry, our little piece is not the why, is not the what, but it ends up being the how. Because looking at a problem and saying why we need to solve it is important, but it doesn't solve the problem. Coming up with ways to measure, to monitor, to characterize, and describing the situation, the what, doesn't solve the problem. And so while we need tools like LCA, while we need tools to evaluate toxicity, we can't get to a sustainable future without it. It isn't the tools that invent the solution. They measure it. If the solution doesn't exist, the tools have nothing to measure. And so, if, I have the best stopwatch in the world, it's not going to make me run any faster. All right. And so the way I look at it, the why is important, the what is important. But at the end of the day, going into lab, pouring beakers and flasks, and with vulnerability and risk to our reputation, we have to go out there and come up with these solutions. And that's where I feel the principles of green chemistry come into play. It's not the answer to everything. The why is important. The what is certainly important. The how is just a little piece of it. but it's the part that we inventive chemists, scientists, and engineers play to create a sustainable future. So as the field of chemistry expands and we learn more and we invent more, these approaches to characterize these what's that we talk about, maybe we call it sustainable chemistry, a safe chemistry, a circular chemistry, a clean chemistry, regenerative chemistry. They're all competing with each other. I wish they would stop competing with each other and just see it as different flavors of the whole. But all of these approaches are super important to know when we've invented. Did we invent it the way that is consistent with that framework? But again, like I said, knowing how to measure things doesn't really help you invent the thing. It's kind of two different parts of the problem. All right. And so green chemistry, in my opinion, seeks to change the shape of chemistry so that it doesn't matter what you subscribe to for the what, because everything we do in chemistry will help that. Right. So from my perspective, Einstein said, no problem can be solved at the same level of awareness that created it. Well, that's kind of where we are here. We need new eyes and new ideas in the chemical sciences to do this. But so here we have a whole bunch of molecules and products, and we have the sustainability objectives, and we're trying to find a way. How do we go in the lab and invent something that approaches the UN SDGs? Now, when someone says to me, oh, John, only 5 of the UN SDGs involve chemistry, those are the fighting words to me, okay? Every single one of the things, because if we're going to move to a sustainable future, we need to look at employment, we need to look at jobs, we need to look at food and shelter, and so every single one of these 17 UN SDGs will be helped forward by the invention of things. It's not enough. We also have to have all kinds of social political changes too, but all 17 will also require a thing or a group of things to help us. And we're going to either invent those things to hurt the 17 UN SDGs or to facilitate and help them. And so from my perspective, the 12 principles of green chemistry are that mechanistic connectivity to the molecules and products to these sustainability objectives. But again, when people say, oh, chemistry is the central science, again, we gotta stop creating silos and then complaining that we don't like silos. From my perspective, chemistry is the foundation of biology. Biology is the foundation of neuroscience. Neuroscience is the foundation of philosophy. Philosophy is the foundation of mathematics. Mathematics is the foundation of physics. And physics is the foundation of chemistry. This is a continuum. There is no centrality here. And this is why everybody is necessary in this process, because of this continuum. If we can't see that, if we talk about silos, and we don't understand that these silos are some mythical imaginary creature that helps tell where to deposit a check at a university or a company, we're messing it up. It's this continuum that allows us to create the solutions of the future. So we have infinite products, we have infinite molecules, and we're saying to ourselves, how do we invent better technologies? So it's a big jump to think, how are we going to connect a molecule? People that want a new shampoo don't spontaneously say, I need 2-chloro-5-hydroxybenzaldehyde. People who want to make a new adhesive for a shoe aren't going to say, oh, I need a polymer with an acetyl group with them. It's hard to make that connection. But the thing is it's not that hard if you again realize that the silos don't exist and it's a continuum. Right? Infinite products, yes, but every product is defined by a material property, quantifiable consequence of molecular material mechanisms, things like color, flexibility, hardness, repellency, things like that. Now, you don't even have to be a scientist to do that, right? But that's still not a molecule. Now, the material properties are created from material mechanisms, either intermolecular processes between more than one molecule or an intramolecular process more than a nanometer. It's kind of an oversimplification, but it's kind of like engineering stuff, polymer crystallinity, Young's modules, intermolecular bond energies, stuff like that. Still not a molecule. And finally, Material mechanisms are a consequence of molecular mechanisms. These are intramolecular processes within a single molecule or under a nanometer. This is stuff that, you do with spectroscopy and things like that. Bond rotation, aromatization potential, stability of a cation, HOMO-LUMO energy gaps. Now we can go from a molecule to a molecular mechanism to a material mechanism to a material property to a product, and vice versa. So this is the connectivity. So these aren't silos. Please don't think that, oh, John's created 3 silos. This is a continuum. And if we add things like flammability, toxicity, biodegradation in the same time that we're talking about color, flexibility, hardness, then we're doing green chemistry. And in the same way I can figure out the material mechanisms and the molecular mechanisms that create color, I can do the same thing for biodegradation and toxicity. Kind of straightforward, as long as we can reduce these things in this continuum. But here's the cool part. When we talk about products, we think about things like packaging and things like that. But wait a minute, there's a whole nother source of products for us. That's the products of nature. Okay, we think, okay, because we've been at this for about 200 years, we humans making chemical products. Nature's been at this for 3.8 billion years. The same process applies to them. So in a way, if we're going to create a sustainable future, we need to embrace this concept of biomimicry, not only in the noun of what a product looks like, but in the verb of how the mechanisms work. And so if we can say, okay, an apple, these are the material properties, these are material mechanisms, these are the molecular mechanisms, how can we apply that to making products? That's how we now turn our focus from, instead of this weird egotistical, we're going to dominate nature, from becoming students of nature and collaborate with nature and focus on the mechanisms. All right, so we have organisms in nature like a tree. Okay, we can make products like a piece of wood, sure. Or we can extract nature-derived molecules like cellulose. Then we can do a little bit of chemistry and make synthetic molecules like cellulose acetate, and then make these combined products like coated woods and stuff like that. Now there's a lot of people like, oh my God, now it's not natural anymore. You've done chemistry, but at the end of the day, every molecule is coming from nature somewhere. Even petroleum is the degradation product of plants. Now we need to stop using that because they're depleting and causing, all kinds of global climate change issues. But chemistry is not the problem. Think about this. If I take some eggs and some flour, some water, and I make pasta, that pasta no longer is eggs and flour. There's been acetylation reactions, acylation reactions, hydrolysis, double bonds have had things added across it. We do chemistry when we make bread and pasta, everything we do in cooking. So I don't think our society understands that carrying out a chemical reaction in a cell or carrying out a chemical reaction in a beaker in a flask, if the principles of green chemistry applied, it can still be sustainable. And I don't think society is understanding that, and we're not doing a good job explaining that. So let me give you a couple examples of how we can look at a mechanism, not just the molecule, not just the product, but look at the mechanism. Okay, so some people know that I've done a lot of work, extrapolating from sclerotization. When an insect molts, it goes from white to black and soft to hard. Well, using this mechanism, been able to create a hair color technology that colors people's hair in a green chemistry way. But crazy enough as it is, not only can you do a hair product, but we can also make biodegradable polymers that are really, really ballistically hard and have huge elongation that breaks using the same mechanism. So the mechanism is central. So you get all these molecules here, all these products here. If we chemists focus on the mechanism and are inspired from nature, we can make a diversity of products. How about coral? Coral, interestingly enough, aggregates in a well-defined way, and the intermolecular forces as these corals aggregate can be understood. All right, and using this inspiration of this mechanism of aggregation, I created a company called Collaborative Aggregates, where we do asphalt paving to be able to use recycled asphalt. But not only have I done that, but actually made an Alzheimer's drug, looking at the aggregation of A beta in neural cells can actually do the exact same chemistry, the same mechanism of aggregation, disaggregation that goes into asphalt pavement can go into Alzheimer's. Another mechanism is thymine photodimerization. The mechanism of skin cancer, sadly, is when UV light does a 2+2 photo cross-linking reaction in DNA. This is an important mechanism for evolution, the causality of a lot of mutations that have been the fundamental backbone of evolution. So using this thymine thing can be able to take this mechanism and actually create hair shaping perm chemistry, or take it and make microelectronic devices and photoresists. Doesn't matter what the product is, it's the mechanism in the green chemistry if you use the 12 principles of green chemistry. My last example is orientation in nature, this Escher painting. There's a lot of gradual interfaces in nature. And so using this concept of gradual interface, created a photovoltaic company that makes indoor photovoltaic systems, or use the same kind of mechanism to create engineered wood composite adhesives. So again, we always in our silos, we look at applications. I work in, medicinal chemistry. Oh, I work in cosmetics. I work in electronics. Those illusions inhibit our ability to invent the new technologies. At the end of the day, while there are infinite molecules and there are infinite products that humans have made and nature has made, interestingly enough, there is a very finite number of mechanisms. Could probably come up with a way less than 100 to define all the things that happen in the world. So if we shift our eyes away from the silos into that which brings it all together, the dynamic mechanisms, we can start inventing, and we can invent efficiently. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak here. And again, I wish I was here live and I could talk to one of you, but I look forward to doing so in the future. So thank you very much.
So, thank you virtually to John for that excellent talk. And we will now be segueing into our first set of breakout rooms. So just to preface before we go into the breakout rooms, please introduce yourselves within them. And in general, just remember to follow the guideline of speak up and step back. So basically, we want to create space for other people to speak and to collaborate and have an interesting conversation. And just general rule when you're introducing yourselves, go for name, affiliation, and then we'll just pick a topic to discuss. So our two rooms are going to be with the Beyond Benign Higher Ed team, and then with the Green Chemistry Connections team, as well as some of the ambassadors, if they wish. And yeah, so please join the room of your choice. We will be doing this for about 20 minutes. We'll be coming back around 1. I guess it's slightly shorter than 20. Close.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. We'll get started with our second hour of content.
So as I said previously on our agenda, we're going to have some talks now from our community ambassadors about the work that they're working on in their ongoing projects, followed by breakout rooms with a couple of them, and then a wrap up. So our first speaker from our ambassador is Thomas Fries, and he will be speaking shortly on his work. If he would like to jump in and introduce himself.
Yes, hello, I'm Thomas. I'm joining in from the Netherlands right now, and it's nice sunset at 7 p.m. at the moment. I'm a PhD candidate in chemistry who's finishing in 2 weeks. I have my defense day. Then John Warner will be in my opposition asking questions about green chemistry. And my PhD was mostly about making energy carriers and energy transition possible through electrocatalysis and photocatalysis. So mostly focusing on hydrogen, but I'm also very busy with lignocellulose conversion. And from that research, from the lignocellulose conversion, we founded now a startup in green chemistry where I will be I'm a co-founder of that, and I will be working mostly on that now, while I'm also promoting green chemistry through the green chemistry commitment with Beyond Benign. And yeah, on the side, I am also promoting here at the university in Groningen in the Netherlands, green laboratories, which means independent of the research. So not just chemistry, but also biology, physics, dry labs, computational science, every lab really that you can think of, how those can be operated more efficiently and save energy and CO2 emissions. And the university likes that usually because they save money when I make the labs more efficient, let's say.
Thank you, Thomas, for your introduction. I'm sure people will be excited to meet you during the breakout rooms.
Okay, so one of our other green not ambassador, but another one of the fellow graduate student liaisons like me, Gagan, Sarah, and a couple others here today is Akawo Imo, who is a research assistant at the International Center for Energy and Environmental Sustainability Research and a graduate student studying environmental chemistry under the Commonwealth-funded split-side PhD program in Akwa Ibom State University in Nigeria and Newcastle University in the UK. His research focuses on investigating the impact of organic pollutants on undisturbed wetland ecosystems. He is a member of some professional organizations, including the Society for Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, CTAC, the International Younger Chemists Network, IYCN, yes, and the Royal Society of Chemistry and the American Society of Chemistry. Prior to starting his doctoral program, Aquilo attended the IUPAC Green Chemistry Postgraduate Summer School in Venice and became more passionate about green chemistry activities in sub-Saharan Africa. He has served as a coordinator for the ACS Festival of Chemistry in Nigeria, a program that uses a series of hands-on activities to demonstrate the importance of chemistry, encouraging pupils and students to pursue careers in the chemical sciences. He is a younger chemist active advocate and the 2021 ACS Leadership Development Award. As a graduate student liaison for Beyond Benign, he is passionate about supporting the development of green chemistry education and creating awareness in the communities around West Africa about the importance of sustainability. And he wasn't able to join us here today, but he will be working on some interesting stuff out of Africa.
All right, so our next introduction is Donna, who I believe is with us today. So Donna, if you would like to introduce yourself. Oh, she had to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll just give a brief introduction. So Donna is a PhD student in chemistry at the University of West Indies, St. Augustine campus in her homeland of Trinidad and Tobago. Her work is supervised by Dr. Denise Beckles, senior lecturer and leader of the Environmental Research Group at the UWI St. Augustine campus. And Donna's research is focused on investigating the efficacy of immersive virtual reality technology as a pedagogical tool for undergraduate chemistry. She frequently mentors chemistry undergrads and actively participates in chemistry outreach events on behalf of the chemistry department. And as a graduate student liaison at Beyond Benign, Donna relishes the opportunity to use her passion for chemistry education and outreach to promote green chemistry awareness for a much more sustainable future. And her contact information is on the slide if you would like to reach out to her. So we also have Giovanni, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. I will introduce him as well. So Giovanni is a PhD candidate at Queen's University, working under the guidance of Dr. Philip Jessup and co-supervised by Dr. Pascal Champagne. So his research focuses on the removal of contaminants of emerging concern from water using a cheap and reusable surfactant-based CO2 responsive system. Before joining Queen's, he worked as a full-time college teacher and course coordinator for the Ministry of Education in Brazil, when he led the establishment and accreditation of the first college-level chemical technology course in Brazil's capital city, Brasilia. Giovanni is actively engaged with green chemistry and sustainability and is a heavy supporter of the interactions between like-minded students and experts. In his current role as an executive member of the Queen's International Student Chapter of the American Chemical Society, he is promoting and advocating for green chemistry education activities.
And now we have Cynthia, who is with us today. So if you want to introduce yourself.
So, hi everyone. I know some of you. For those who I don't know, I'm Cynthia. I'm very happy to be part of the team of the GCC ambassadors to engage more universities and more people in green chemistry. I have slides for, oh, Julian, I prepared 3 slides. Yeah, okay. You won, Juliana. So I did it more personal, I would say. So this is where I am now in my living room. Here in Brazil, it's 12 p.m. So after this meeting, I will come back to university. And as I said, more personally, I was brought in a family with practices and costumes that are now considered sustainable. But back then, the concept of sustainability didn't even exist. Yeah, so that's why I care about sustainability, about green chemistry, care about my home, not this home here, but thinking about the planet as well. So I like traveling and reading. I'm really practitioner of sustainability, not just talking about sustainability, but putting it in practice. And as you can see in this photo, I'm a mother of 6 cats. So I put the yellow ones to help you, because this one here, Sisa, the black one near my foot, it's quite difficult to see her. I'm a marriage with a chemist. Hopefully Humberto is here. I can see him here. I'm not sure if he is online. Are you online, Humberto? I don't think so. He's not answering me. Anyway, he is a chemist, and we share the coordination of laboratory and some projects. My background, I'm a pharmacist, and I did my master and PhD in chemistry with emphasis in organic chemistry. And now I'm associate professor at the Institute of Chemistry at São Paulo State University here in Brazil. So Juliana, we can go for the next slide. Oh, I love this photo. I would say, thinking about what John just said to us, and I would say that SDG number 4, which is quality education, and number 5, which is gender equity, I would say they are on my DNA. So if I need to choose another one to pursue and to focus, would be number 12, responsible consumption and production. And thinking about the responsible consumption, I try to follow the I would say we have 5 R's, 7 R's. I put 8 R's. Rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, repurpose, recycle, and root. So I try to incorporate all of them on my daily basis. Since 2020, during the pandemic, I started, how can I say, a compost bin here at my place, and it's working non-stop since then. So I'm very proud, trying to reduce the organic waste I produce here at home and using the compost to my plants. And thinking about the responsible production as a chemist, I use the 12 principles of green chemistry as a guideline when we are thinking about projects and doing things in the laboratory, in the classes. And I would say these are the principles I put in practice every day. So waste prevention, less hazardous synthesis, safer solvents, use of renewable feedstocks, reduce of derivatives, because we do biocatalysis at the laboratory. So those are the principles we use or we put in practice every day. And the last slide is more professional. At São Paulo State University, I work in 4 fronts. So in education, I teach undergrad and grad students. This semester, I'm teaching sustainable chemistry course. And hopefully next year, we'll have the toxicology for chemistry course approved. About research, so I'm in love with biocatalysis. We use biocatalysis for organic synthesis, and we also have some projects on degradation, herbicides degradation. Now we are working on polymers degradation, mainly PET and PE, in this plastic-free oceans big project. I'm also involved in outreach activities. And last semester, we developed, we used material from GCTLC platform. We adapted it and use it to teach high school students about plastic pollution and so on, polymer degradation, joining our research. And also we have administrative works, and there I'm part of the university working group on Agenda 2013. We are starting a working group to make our institute more sustainable. Very inspired in Thomas Free's Thomas paper. And yes, last week we did our GSC day here at the Institute of Chemistry. I was one of the organizers, and that's it. I hope you had a flavor about what I do. If you have questions, if you want to collaborate, I'm very open to it. That's it, Juliana.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So our last ambassador we'll highlight today is Professor Lucien Lucia, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today. So I'll just do a quick introduction for him. So Professor Lucien Lucia currently serves as a professor in the departments of forest biomaterials, wood and paper science, and chemistry, and as a faculty in the programs of fiber and polymer science and environmental sciences at North Carolina State University. His laboratory, the Laboratory of Soft Materials and Green Chemistry, probes fundamental materials science topics focused on the green chemistry of renewable polymers. He received his PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Florida for modeling photoinduced charge separation states of novel uranium-1 based organometallic ensembles as a first-order approximation of photosynthesis.
So now we're just gonna have the breakout rooms. This time there'll be 3. So one will be with the ambassadors, some of them that you've been introduced to, that have introduced themselves that are here. A Beyond Benign Higher Ed team, a breakout room, and the Green Chemistry Connections breakout room. So feel free to join the ones that you would like. And if you need any help, please let Chloe or I or one of the organizers know. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. Hopefully you had some wonderful discussion with our ambassadors or our various teams as well. To finish off the day for today, we're just going to have some updates from Beyond Benign Higher Ed team and what is happening within the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today with us, despite of all the things you have to do. We really appreciate it. We'd like to invite you for the next event, our next Green Chemistry Connections. So as you may have noticed, or you may have heard, we're doing like in two different time zones now, so we can accommodate different people from different regions of the world. So the next one is happening on October 18th at 5 a.m. our time. So we're gonna be here half dead, half alive. But if you have people from all different time zones that are able to join us at this time, please invite them to be here with us and the Green Chemistry Connections team, which is in the 18 time zone as a zombie. But this is like 7 p.m. Australian time. So please join us. Next slide. Yeah, so we would also like to invite you for a webinar that we're organizing with the Laboratory Safety Institute, sorry. And this webinar is happening on September 27th at 11 a.m. ET time. So basically, I'm here in the US, I'm in Canada, but we're having a ban of DCM, dichloromethane, in the US. So if you want to learn more about this ban and how you can explore some alternatives for this solvent in research and also school settings, please join us. We'll have Saskia, Francesca, and Thomas speaking. So it's going to be a really cool webinar. So Chloe's going to drop that link in the chat. And also, if you're going to conferences this year, so NOBSHE is coming, please join Beyond Benign team. Our lovely Monica, now it's Monica Hensley. So she has a different email address. So it's Monica Hensley now. She's going to be there with Dr. Deborah Broomfield Lee, and also they're organizing this symposium. So if you're going to the NOBSHE, please join Deborah and Monica at this symposium to talk about green chemistry. Also, you've heard from Thomas today, our Green Chemistry Commitment Ambassador, and also Thomas, he's doing a lot of things in terms of green labs. He published a really cool paper about like actually things that we could do to make our labs greener. So together with IUPAC, we're organizing this webinar, who is part of the Global Conversation Sustainability Project. So it's happening on October 8th at 10 a.m. So if you want to learn how you can make your lab greener with Thomas, please join us at this event. And registration's open and we're rocking and rolling. Also, if you've heard about John today virtually, but John's also going to be live, not in a recording, hopefully in the As Nature Hive monthly conversations. So she's going to be there doing his John things and convincing people about how the world is amazing with green chemistry. So if you want to talk to John, please join this webinar on October 10th. So many things happening. Okay, and also our amazing Monica Hensley, she's organizing this Greener Curriculum Showcase series where she's going to talk about this super fun side case study. It's a thing that you can use in your teaching to show like how green chemistry can be applied in practice. So if you have any questions about this event, you can reach out to Monica, but also if you want to register, you can just register to it and also join Monica and also learn about this case study that Monica is working on and how you can do to make your labs greener. No, like how you make teaching greener. Also, Latinx Camp. Sorry, my brain is messing up. Latinx Camp conferences happen on Twitter, X platform. So basically, if you are a professor or if you're a student, Latinx Camp, want to participate, ensure your amazing green chemistry work, we are sponsoring the best posters. Also, for the people who are in Brazil, Twitter X is happening a whole thing over there. So people who are in Brazil who want to participate in the conference, they're going to be on LinkedIn. So it's going to be a Twitter, LinkedIn conference, and you're more than welcome to join. What's it called? The registrations have been extended until September 22nd. So you still have time to register. Everything is free. Anyone can join. So just let's go. What else? Oh yeah, conferences, more conferences. Our team's going to be at the ACS Spring 2025 next year. So if you want to be there too, if you want to submit your work, abstract submission deadline is on September 30th. It's going to be in San Diego, nice weather, amazing people. So please join us. And also for the GCNE conference, Green Chemistry Engineering Conference, is happening in Pittsburgh. So the call for symposia is live and it goes until October 14th. So if you want to collaborate, if you want to submit a symposium, this is the time you have until October 14th to do so. And we're going to be there as well. Yeah, and thank you to all the people. I'm going to let Gagan take over because she does a wonderful job in doing all those things. But thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Ju. And thank you to all of our sponsors for making this event possible, and also Milford Stigma. And then thank you, all of you, for being here and joining us today. I know it was a lot of introductions, but we're very excited for you to meet the team, and I'm excited to get started for this new year and do some exciting green chemistry things.